Anytime we want to thank Kavachishkocha brothers, we want to thank Kol Halashim, we want to thank the Rabbeinu Shalom himself to be able to be Mezaka to Rambam, especially in Amuna B'tachon. We have a Kodel here. We have a lot of Kodel in Baruch Hashem that are learning Musar.
How's the money going?
The money I saw a Gvir, someone would give me $1,000 last week. I needed money for my B'tachon weeklies. I owed it, but good. And all week I was like pretty much, I kept davening. I says, Eibishter, I'm going to be in action. I'm waiting for you to give me. I'm not going to anybody. No, sir, not me. I'm not knocking on doors. Forget it. I'm not going to nobody. And I was in action. And I saw somebody who had given me 1,000 and figured, okay, maybe we'll get another 1,000 from him. I says, no, I don't want to do that. I'm going to you, Eibishter. You can get me the money. And guess what happened? Throughout the week, I started getting I get $150 in the mail. Somebody sees me in the street. Oh, I want to be part of B'tachon Weekly, $50 check. So there's 200 right there. Then suddenly, I was sitting in my house learning Musa, and suddenly a lady knocks on the door and gives my wife $500 cash. And I said, well, what's going on here? And then met them all. Somebody gives me another $20, $40, whatever it is. And the Vad, Mitamo, we have one of our greatest benefactors, gives me $100 cash. And then when he's finished with me, I'm finished with my Vad. Somebody gives me, oh, Mendel, I have some money for you. $650 cash. Check he gives me. So I have myself more than I'm supposed to get for the week. I'm doing fine. And then someone else just called me now, another $100. I didn't ask for a penny. Didn't ask nobody for one penny. I paid up, $1,600 like this. Didn't ask for a penny. I'm in action. Action yatzliach. And there, like I said, I'm brisk. But rather, Novandig is like that also plenty. They believe in that. But all right, they have different shittas. They believe in collecting. That's a big zach. Anyway, the Eibishter helps. Go to Hashem Tzilcha. Hashem Tzilcha, Pasha Shemini, I tell you, they're so fragile. Those mafreses pasa. Take a look. I watch them sometimes. How do you stand on a hoof that's split in the middle? You messed up. What did they to do to you? What did you mess them up for? Chas v'shalom to talk like that. Oh, but what's going on? Take a look. I once watched one of them. They're shaky. Why don't you be like a horse who has a full hoof? He's solid. A solid bed. Did I say this last time? A solid fed. That's a solid, a good fed. What is this guy, split? And those are the kosher ones. Eat only this, but what's going on? I want to tie up shot. When you're shaky, you're messed up. You're not the way, you're not seimach. So you got to be seimach on the Eibishter. Because the normal smicha is where your foot lands. That's the smicha. You don't have a good smicha on the bottom. You're shaky. You're not. That's Klal Yisrael. They're flying all over the place. Klal Yisrael is all over the world. We're shaky. We don't have our own country. We have no thing. There's no good. Oh, they're going to be by Teach and the Eibishter. They have only the Eibishter. That's the real B'tachon. When you have a pekel, then you become a real B'tachon. When you're weak, you realize you're weak. You realize you're not worth a penny. That's the B'tachon. When you're solid, I told you about the shed. This guy's a shed. It's a German make. It's called Stolz Fuß. Stolz Fuß, that's what it's called. And that's the Germans. Their workmanship is great. If a German makes it, solid. Solid people. They're on time. They do everything the way you're supposed to, right? They're solid. And solid, look what became of them. When people, you lose the Eibishter when you're so solid. They're very brilliant too. They're very smart. You're very smart. That's a sakana. It's a sakana to be rich. It's like all these things. A big chachamim. It was all sakana for Amuna. All right, it's fine. You can have everything if you do it right. But these people became the cruelest people in mankind. They're so solid. Everything's so solid. Anyway, so when you're shaking up, you're making mistakes. and this is wrong. That's why our heroes are always making mistakes. Anyway, I'm going to tell you Meirdika Meisa. I was once called to visit somebody who was sick. He had a very serious issue, and they asked me to visit him. Certain young man, he went through Gehenna 8 months earlier, and they called me. The relatives came to me, visited me, machazedik, and he's never 8 months. He hasn't moved. He hasn't nothing. But he's getting out of the woods. But in the meantime, he's mamish shrek, and he's very depressed. Say a good word, you'll change him around. So I went to the house. It was on Yom Tov. Went to the house, and I knocked on the door, no answer. I knocked this door, that door, no answer. I went there again the next day, no answer. 2 days later, I meet the relative. No, I tell the relative, how's he doing? He says, I don't know. Were you able to get? No, I wasn't, but I know he's doing all right. He says, how do you know? Because I know. The next day, it says, I'll find out. He comes to me back the next day. The guy, for the first time in 8 months, the guy's driving, he's doing things, he's a new person. When did that happen? Just when I went to visit him. Within a day or two. It was a different matzav. And the guy kept calling me afterwards. The guy's getting better and better and better. What happened? I says, whenever I go to somebody, I don't go myself. I go as a shliach of Hashem. I always believe, Hashem, if I don't meet the guy, you'll do the job. Yeah, I need to do it directly. You'll take care of him. I need to be the one that's doing it. And then he gets even better. The reports I got back is not pushing. You go to the Eibishter. Every move you make, you go to the Eibishter. You get Eibishter can do anything. I keep getting people call me up. Keseder. Family problems. 2 girls. 2 girls are not behaving. 2 girls are messing up the house. 2 girls, chutzpah, whatever you want to call them, teenage girls. And the parents call me up crying on the phone. I say, you know what you do with those girls? Say how great they are between each other. Every time they're doing something bad, say, oh, no. Rabbi Mendel said just the opposite is going to happen. A few days later, I get a phone call. They're different girls. Well, how'd you do that? They're different girls. You don't talk that. You don't talk to the girls. Talk to the Eibishter. Talk between each other. Oh, you see, they're getting better. When they're getting worse, say they're getting better. You want to know where do I get this whole Adarabba business? I'm very into Adarabba. I live off it. Everything Adarabba. But things are going terrible. Well, you messed up. You did this. No, just the opposite. You be in action. You'll be a happy life. You know, some of Shavitz from Novandig, when they took him to Siberia, the eyewitnesses say his face was glowing. Siberia, people had nervous breakdowns as soon as they found out. They go, Siberia was Gehenna. I heard from people, Gehenna, the weather, and what they made them work, the conditions were ridiculous. By the way, one of the big Novandigas, I'll tell you who it was. He came to somebody in a dream, not to give him covered by telling stories about him, but he didn't come to me in a dream. So I don't know. Can I say who it is? One of the big Novandigas. But I checked out the story. It's 1,000% true. In Siberia, you had to have 2 boiling hot glasses of water to exist. Or else you're dead. The morning you took a drink, at nighttime you took a drink. That kept you alive in Siberia. What did he do with his morning drink? He poured it all over his hand to put on his tefillin. Because his hand was an icicle. I can't put on tefillin on an icicle. So he put the boiling hot water all over his hand. That's it. That's fine. I don't have to drink it. You know, I think it was him, Taka. There was extra bread around. They wouldn't trust anybody because people, when someone's starving to death, he's irrational. He's going with sugar, but not him. Novandiga, he'll hold it. He won't take one extra piece. He don't care if he starves. It doesn't bother him. These malachim will be these Novandigas. Anyway, Well, Yisrael Shabbat's went to people had nervous breakdowns. That's what you do at the Kamaisa. This Bachar never started dancing with the KGB guy and singing Simchas Torah Nagunim. He went out of his mind. Another guy, as soon as he found out he's going to Siberia, he started screaming all night, I don't want to go to Siberia. Siberia! Kleinigkeit, Siberia. Gehenna. And Reb Shalom of Shabbat, they tell him he's going to Siberia. He was beaming! He was beaming! There's pictures of him, always smiling. The man had Ruach HaKodesh, you know. This man, some Shegets beat up a yeshiva guy, Makas Retzach, he could have killed him by mazel, nothing happened. He said, you see that Shegets? Watch. Very soon he's going to get it, but good. And everybody watched. 2 weeks later, after he said that, the Shegets fell into the, you know, on the trains, they pushed it. If you couldn't get on, they pushed you off. They were a little rough over there. So they pushed him off, and he landed on the tracks. And a minute later, that was the end of him. And that was Rabbi Shaul had predicted it. Rabbi Shaul had a different mice, which I will not repeat. The best stories I can't say in public. I'm not going to repeat it, but it's night in the race. I'll tell you, I'll beat around the bush. I'll tell you this much. He got a report that can kill an elephant and make him traumatized for the rest of his life. Something, whatever. He read it, and eyewitnesses saw him smiling like he just won the lottery. And I heard such a story from Rabbi Yitzchak Kurlansky when something horrific happened. And the Novandigas got the news, they all started dancing. And the Alta saw that they were dancing. He joined them. And he danced along with them to show his askama.
Can we say what it was? Or
no, never. The Olam is not roy. You're not roy to hear this. But one thing I do want to tell you. When people are trained to the Adarabba mode, that's what happens. I'm going to tell you where the Adarabba comes from. The rest of us speak about it. In Novandiga, it was called the Adarabba, the Novandiga Adarabba. Rabbi Bolstein has a sefer, he brings down that concept. The Novandiga Adarabba. Just the opposite. Now, where do you get it from? I'll tell you. When you say hollow, what are you going to say? You're going to say, first things, Eben Moasa Bainim, I saw the rice pina. The stone that they can't even use it, that's the cornerstone. He's the best. Then there's another, that's the end of hollow. And the beginning of hollow, may ashbois, mikime me off a dough, lift me up from the dust. May ashbois from a dung heap. Yonim evyon loshivim the divim. The divyama, you're going to be with the cream. Adarabba. That's two Adarabbas. The third Adarabba is a rock turns into a flow of delicious water. That's three Adarabbas right there in hollow. So anybody says hollow, if you really concentrate on hollow, you cheer up, but good. Adarabba, things are bad. Oh yes, you wait. I've had experiences. Adarabba. Boy, did I have experiences. One after another. No, just the opposite. Sometimes they able to test you. You got to stick to your guns. No. You got to learn a lot of Musa. No, just the opposite. It's going to be Dafki Yematzliach. Only good's coming from here. All I see is good. That's the way Yid has to think. If you're heavily involved in Kol Manda heard this Rab Bloizel Zangazun Shtak. He's a very heilig Yid. He dammens in Beis Yosef. Maybe should help Beis Yosef to remain Beis Yosef. Amen. The same place, same everything. It's Kodesh Kadoshim, those walls. It's not Shaykh. Who was there? Who davened there? They Bali Ruach HaKodesh. A person who had Gila was one of them. What are you talking? Who these people are? Weinkrantz and Malach Hashem Tzvakis. They worked on the Midas. You walked into Rav Weinkrantz's kitchen. You felt the Shechina. Everybody felt something's going on over here. They felt the Shechina. All the Eneklach will tell you. All the inner light that I took there, they felt the Shechina. I'll tell you one other place where I felt similar. by Rabbi Yaakov Edelstein. I felt it. And there's one Sada Shava between these two people that I found out about. They did the opposite of what they wanted to do. Rabbi Weinkrantz, you say, you want to talk? Don't talk. You don't want to talk? Do talk. Now watch out, Rabbi Stein. Watch out. Don't jump. Don't jump. But whatever, you're working on me this all day. Hashem likes that. You do what you can.
Could it ever be miles for the lumbus of the other?
The lumbus is how it works. The Eibush is testing you to see a human being has the power to turn around his destiny and make it taiva. You say Gamzula taiva, says the Heilige Maharal. You have the power of turning the worst thing into the best thing. And says the Heilige Maharal, why is it would evolve Gamzula taiva instead of Gamzela taiva? Because a vav is a mahapech, it's an extreme. It's two opposite. A vav could mean vav. V's, vav, aleph, vav, spells out vav. That equals 13. Now, 13 is the worst thing in the world. It means yayin. It says yayin 13 times by Noach. I believe that's what he says over there. And wine destroys it. Your head's not working, you're finished, you're messed up. That's what happened to Noach. It's the worst churban. And it's also Yud Gimel Midah Shel Rachamim. The same letter goes two opposite directions. Numerical value is 13, which is, he makes a whole cheshbon in the Maharal, that 13 can mean the extreme in two directions. So it's up to the person to say Gamzula Taiva. That's why it's above. Instead of hey, Gamzu, you're going to take the worst thing in the story of Nachamish Gamzu. He went ahead and he took, Nachamish Gamzu took he took the dirt that they had, right? Everybody knows the story. And he says, I'll give it to the Kaiser. You're playing with you know what a Roman used to do? You know, in Venice, everybody knows Venice, there's a special torture chamber over there where they tortured people. You know, the Romans are Achzorim, what they used to do to people. These are Esav Zainakal. They're the worst. And you're going to the Caesar and you give him dirt. You serious? So they told the Nachamish Gamzu, he said, go give it to him. I'm not impressed. He said, Gamzu L'Taiva. What? What? Zu is Gematria 13. Good. Beautiful. So he got just the opposite. They said Elio Navi disguised himself as one of the king's men. And the king was all wanted to explode. You bring me dirt to the Kaiser? And Nachamish Gamzu is sitting there. And he's smiling. Yes, Gamzula Taiva. I work with the Eibush. This will be dafka good. The extreme opposite. That's the lush of the Maharal on Gamzula Taiva. Maharal Nesivas B'tachon, I believe. He says this. What? Yeah. Go just the opposite. It's up to you. You have such power. The human being, the Eibush, they gave him. Now that dirt was used to wipe out his enemies. They rewarded Nachamish Gamzu tremendously. Because Nachamish Gamzu said, I see only good. It's up to you. Hashem is waiting your reaction. You're going to be like everyone else, every balabas. Oh, you know what happened to me? What happened? Good things happen. You call it good, Hashem will show you good. It's Naim they used to say, if a person keeps saying it's a good, they'll show him what good is. Keep saying it's a bad, they'll show him what bad is. Say it's good no matter what. Always be positive. You get a mitzvah at the very least. You got a mitzvah of Isaac and Bטחון. A person that says Gamzul Teva all his life. This is Rabbi Akiva's Rebbe. No? Did he do well? Nachamish Gamzu. He was Rabbi Akiva's Rebbe. By the way, the Jikava or the Rupchitza. I think it's the same. I saw one of the Sfarim that Nachamish Gamzu was his own Chiddush. He was extreme in that. The Eibush, Rabbi Akiva said, but that's not the same Madrega. It's not as stark. It means later you'll see good. Gamzula Tova means the etzem rat is good. It's a starker Madrega. And he was zeicher to it by himself. And I was told by Rבים, you could be machadish yourself in Emuna B'tachon. Everybody's got his own world of Emuna B'tachon. You keep working on it. The thing is to work on Emuna and B'tachon. Spend your life working on that sugya. It pays off. You'll have a different life. It'll give you a menuchas hanefesh. Nobody, you can do the worst aveira, and the biggest mitzvah will come out of that. What does David HaMelech do with Bathsheba? What an embarrassing story. Well, the future of Klal Yisrael. What's wrong with Michal Bas Shaul to be the mother of Tzaddikus who watched film, and he rightfully married her because he killed 100 plishtim, and he got 100 olas of the plishtim, and this was his. And then what's wrong with Tzaddikus who watched film? Shaul's daughter, a princess. And then who else did he have? He had a Neviah. What was her name? Abigail, one of the most beautiful women that ever lived. Abigail, beautiful means in Ruchnius and whatever. She had the son. Her son was Daniel. Who was Daniel? His name was Kilov too, because he looked just like David. It was, whatever it is. He was a masbin otzim. You know what Daniel did for David? David HaMelech used to sit and learn. Don't think he did so well. What are you talking about? David HaMelech was a gein elam. True. But when Ishbaishis got together with him, Ishbaishis was Mavayish David B'Torah, Ishbaishis. And David said, halachas like this, Ishbaishis gets up. No, sir, David, you're wrong. And David had a hard life. He came into the base Medish, he's always wrong. Until he had a son. Abigail, the Tzaddikus Gemurah, there was no one like her. She saved him from Gehenna. He wanted to kill her husband, Nobel, who was in Russia. He wanted to kill him. She said, you can't do that. You're not really the king yet. If he would have done it, he would have been finished. If we would have killed him. Because he was married B'malchus against David. David didn't like the way he spoke to him, so he wanted to kill him. Abigail said, don't you dare do that. She saved him. And then later he married her. And Abigail, even the Chazal say that a melech can't be marba noshim, even if she's a tzaddikus like Abigail. She's the epitome, the spitz of tzaddikus. Abigail, Ashes Noble. Wow. No one like her. How about her son? You know what he did for her, for David? As soon as he grew up, he harbored in learning. Abigail's son is going to be David and Abigail. What a shidduch. And his son started harboring and learning a masbid. He was one of the, he was from Unza Eilam. I'm joking. All Jews are masbidim. But, he went to Brisk, and he was one of the real, one of the best. Yeah, he harbored in learning, and he knew everything. He came. He said, what is that? You're starting out with my tati, David? I'll put you in your place. It's a Gemara. And he did a job. And David's sitting there for the first time. His little Bingala grows up. And he had a hard time with Ishbaishis. Ishbaishis was a lamdin. It was Mavayish B'nai David B'Torah. For years this happened. Until little Daniel grew up. Abigail's son. And he said, okay, Ishbaishis, now I'm going to put you in your place. And I'm going to I'll prove my tati's right. You're wrong. And he kept doing it. Why isn't he the melech? Make him the king. Look what he did. I love the tzaddik. Abigail's son, not Abigail's, not Michal's, and I'm sure all those other wives of Nashim Zikanias. Who is the queen mother who's going to be the future of Malchus Beit David? Bathsheba. Who's Bathsheba? The Chait. Bathsheba, the lady that David saw on the roof, that decided she's very beautiful, blah, 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 and she was an ancient. Well, it's not true. We know we don't understand. We know it's not Negea. But that's what Bathsheba, your boy is the next king. You're not embarrassed to do that, David HaMelech? You're not embarrassed? Because David was an Adarabba person. Adarabba, yes! That's Malchus based David. Shleim Allah. You're going to be the man. He has to come. David and Shleima. What are you? Mishlei, Sherashidim, Kehelis. Shleima! There's no one like Shleima. That's the future of Klal Yisrael. He's called Yedid Hashem too. He had a nickname. Am I right? Yedid. Shleima's name? No. Yedid Hashem. Hashem loves him. What? What's going on here? What kind of funny religion these Jewish people are? Interesting. He's the one that Hashem loves. The Chait boy, Okay, we did tshuva, but still, how do you let this go by? By us Jews? Listen to this. Those Jewish people are interesting. But you got to live with Musa. You got to live with the Torah way of thinking. We don't have that unless you learn a lot of Musa. You got to sit there and sit on it and sit on it and sit on it. Especially Novandik Musa, of course. I mean, it's got to be Novandik. You realize that. I mean, I don't go to Nagiyas. No. I'm just, it's got to be Novandik. It's fine. And there's an Elachiyid from the Bidam Mishpach, I believe, who called me up. And he said he loved my Israeli, sweetie. He loves my stuff. Yerushalayim, it would sound like, he loves my stuff. He says, you're mamish me. I'm a fish. With your stuff, he listens to me day and night. You're my man. Mendel, Diebes the Mensch, was is gewaltig. I love your stuff, till Shemayim. Only one thing I have to say. You keep saying the Vardig. We also had that Mahalach. We also have it. Okay, so fine. You don't need that stempel, the Vardig. Give another stempel. Whatever you want to call it. But Amuna Bטחון and making fun of COVID. I went to one of the Rebbes from that family. He came here to Beis Vega. Was he funny? He was making pratim without going to Novandik. You can do that. You don't have to be Novandik to make pratim. He was funny at the dish. He would start staring at, oh yeah, could you get me that pickle? Here's mamish like me. Oh, can I have that pickle, please? Here's mamish. He's one of us. There was another Rebbe that was known to do that. They say the Kalab Rebbe's father, the one there from Waynesburg, they say his father was heavy into pratim. A lot of pratim is nothing new. But they do it. Machta prat, mach freilach. Machta prat, because you have to do it. People are scaring you too much. You make a prat. The Novandik, when you're metzumtzam, you got to break through. If you're metzumtzam, break that fear. The Novandik do like this. They're at a party or something, and they notice everyone's walking around like scared of each other. They suddenly say, okay, I'm going to make a drasha. They crack the ice. They do that. Always, let's break through. Stop this. Break the ice. You know the Maisa with the boy and girl who weren't good at talking. The boy was quiet, super quiet. And the girl was super quiet. So the shadchan decided, let's get them together. Shaila is what's going to go on with these two. How are they going to deal with, So, let's try the first date. So the boy was sitting there for half an hour sweating. What are you supposed to say? So finally he says, do you have a brother? To the girl. The girl says, no. That she's very good at, getting a conversation going. No. I think she doesn't go in. So that he is, took him another half hour to think of the next brainstorm. He finally thinks, what can I say here? You laugh. I used to be like that. No one believes me. Yes, my wife. I was mamish like that. Mamish, seriously. I was a Rahmanis. Do you like Lakshan? No. We're going nowhere. This is a lively conversation. Another half hour goes by, he sits like this, racking his brains. What do you do next? What do you say? What are you supposed to say? Someone has to, this is shtika. Nobody talks. We don't talk around here. Anyway, finally, he gets an idea. If you had a brother, would he like Lakshan? So this guy's got to get Elam Haba. No Lashon Hara from him. He's one of the good people in Klais. They say the Kotzker Rebbe said, "Lamatzasi laguf tayv mishtika." I never saw anything good coming out of shtika. Okay, easy. You got to know when to use this, when to use that. We have to know. I go with that Kotzker, by the way, just in case anybody wants to get a smach to why I'm always talking. I got the Kotzker to back me up. I never found anything good but shtika. Anyway, I was told in Novandik, they believe in being edel at home, but outside, you're supposed to, if you're a mashpia, you're supposed to talk. That's the way it goes. So I like to be Makayim that. Anyway, So, Rabbi Isai, some more stories. Boy, the latest story I had. You can't imagine what's going on. The Nisim, I'm getting them. I don't even believe it myself. But I keep saying, I'm about Memphis. Never do I play myself down. I'm not that good. What kind of baloney? I'm even better. Never do I admit to a failure. What failure? I don't fail. Not me. You see, I want to tell you, in Hilchis working on me this, if you're the type that loves to put yourself in the garbage can, you're supposed to go the extreme opposite. I'm gewaltig. There's no light in the world. You think you're worse than the whole world? Say you're better than the whole world. You'll steig. It's kedai. Put yourself up. So let me tell you my latest mitzvah. This is a true story. I don't believe, I lost the number already. I'm so shicker with all my mitzvahs. Kim tarana, Baisai. Make yourself comfortable. Listen to this latest mitzvah, Rabbi Isai. I just got the phone call 4 days ago. A lady tells me on the phone, Rabbi Mendel. Yes. There was a boy, 3-year-old kid, who had a stroke. I remember that. Just before Yom Tov, something like that. Had a stroke. And the kid's out. He's out. He can't digest. He can't move. He's had a stroke. 3-year-old kid. And now, yes, I gated him off a bicycle. And he's eating, drinking. The doctors are amazed. I says, what happened? Who did what? You did it, she tells me on the phone. What did I say? I mamish don't remember. I just talk positive. She said, you said he's going to pop out of that hospital 1, 2, 3. And that's exactly what happened. The doctors can't believe it. That's my latest mitzvah. How's that one? Not bad. What? So I believe only mitzvah. I keep talking like this. The Abish can do anything. Don't play the Abish that can't do anything. Anything. Hako yachol. Again, say it. Positive. No. Do you know how many negative thoughts are going on? You don't even know about them. They're going on. They're brain chatter in you. Well, every one of us is loaded. Well, every time we daven, you sure it's going to work? You know, you keep going. Just work on it. That's all. Learn a lot of Musar and Bטחון. I learn a lot of Musar of how great you are. I get a phone call. This guy is my his wife. He comes home. And his wife is Kanai Yehuda. She knows how to scream good. He got himself a winner. Very nice lady. As soon as he comes in, boom! She lets him have it. I know a lot of guys, I don't want to put the guy down. This happened about 10 years ago. The guy tells me his wife always puts him down. You know how many people have been told me this? I haven't spoken to the wife. I'm just curious what she has to say. Dad, I'm curious. I never say anything. Oh, yes. Never. I'm on your side, of course. I know what's good for me. Oh, how did you get messed up? Oh, never. Now I want to wait to hear what she has to say. Rabbi Mendel, you want to know what's going on with this guy and me? And I will find out an opposite story. You know how anyway. But anyway, so what do I do? So this particular guy, the wife, is a lot of guys like this, where the lady is overqualified. You know what it says in the Ramah on Pesach? It's the only Ramah, his wife, these ladies know that Ramah. Noshim Shuvay Shalonu, what's halacha with Haseba? A lady's allowed to do Haseba in front of her husband. Normally she shouldn't. She has to be Machnia, right? You lean back in front of your husband? Where's Derech Eretz? You're the wife. But not, says the Ramah, not our ladies. Our chashuva ladies do Haseba in front of the husband. So that seems to be circulating a lot, that Ramah. A lot of ladies, I don't know if they know anything, but that Ramah they know. I didn't mean it. All the ladies, please don't shut me off. I didn't mean it. Wait. I was just joking. All the ladies are good people. Anyway. I always held a lot from my wife. She was zechet to me. She must be very chashuv. Anyway. That's a great. I'm joking. Please don't be sensitive, ladies. Don't be sensitive. Soon I'll make fun of the men. We'll even it out. We'll tell you how crazy the men are. Don't worry. They're even worse than you guys. Okay, good. That's good. Okay, we'll stay with that. Okay. No. Anyway, no, the men are lucky to marry such a lady. What did you do? I do this all the time. I used to ask your wife. Rabbi Mendel wants to know, how was she zeicher to you? I do that a lot. Anyway. But so, this guy has happened a lot of times in my career. A lot. It's not always the wife. It could be the kid. I had a guy where the kid was the problem. Anyway, here's the matzav. He comes home, and the wife puts him in his place, and he believes her yet. Oh, no. You're not supposed to believe what she says. You believe, you're good for nothing, you rat, you're not a good husband, you're not a good this. And this guy's a tzaddik gomer, and inside, my wife said about me, that's Teres Lakshmi Sinai. That's Nasham Shuva is talking. She doesn't hold for me. It's over. You know what I told the guy? He had Jena Machla. And I told him, tell me, who's shepherding you in your life? It didn't take him long to tell me who. It's my own dear wife. Oh. And what does she do exactly? He comes home, and he spent an hour. She lets him have it regularly. She is very kavua. She knows how to keep a seder. She ranks him out a full hour daily dosage of criticism. He told this to me, young guy. I don't know his wife from Adam. And he gave me a whole reason, because his wife is never from this. When she was younger, they did this, so she got messed up, and now she's messing me up. You got it all figured out. In Novandik, they don't go with that stuff. They say, you got to say him with God. Don't tell me. Stop being upset. That's all. Don't give me reasons, she, me, and she's none of that stuff. Work on kas. The Novandikas are not complicated. You got an assign of kas. And before your wife came along, it was your sister, remember? Or it was your brother, or this, or this. Right, now it's the wife. Or maybe the wife is bringing out the good part of you. And the guys, a lot of these guys, unfortunately, believe this guy had Yana Machla. And I told him, learn a sefer on how great Bezyanus is for a half-hour a day. 2 weeks later, no more Yana Machla. No matzav. He got sick from his aggravation that his wife was. Okay, anyway, so I told the guy once, a long time ago, I told him, you look at your wife like an elephant and yourself like an ant. That's no good. You can't do that. You have to reverse. Your wife is the ant and you're the elephant. If you turn your wife into a bear and you turn your inferiority. I know a young man once told me he was hoping when he'd get married, his wife will build him up, because back home, they used to knock him down. Kipzaran. Kipzar machzachaimish. All the shuvim are coming. So anyway, I told the guy that you have to turn yourself into an elephant and your wife into a mouse. Why are you better than her? I want 100 reasons. Put her down. But she's this, baloney. She has a good head, big spiels, nothing. Play down. Anything good about her, play down. She had an easy life. Doesn't mean anything. It's just she's really not good. She's really bad. I'm really, yes, good. Exactly. Blow yourself up. Put her down. Any ladies listening, you should see all these men smiling. You should see them. Oh, if you would see them, you'll never listen to me again. The men love this. Anyway. Yeah, we'll get to the ladies. So don't have patience. Ladies, I'll say nice words to you. The men love this way I'm talking. Anyway. Right? You're right. I'm getting there. We're getting it to Bislav. Ladies, have patience. I know he's afraid. Have patience. Don't worry. There are ladies out there that really think they're zeros, minus. Way too much. Sometimes it's good. You get on a plane on the Far East. I was on a plane in Pakistan Airways. You got to see the relationship between the stewards and the stewardesses. The stewardess is a doormat, just the way they talk. And the stewards, he's the man. I'm a man. You're who are you? Oh, a woman. Get lost. What's a lady? That's the way they are over there. I was a taxi driver more than once. The guys that come from that are American lady. I would never marry an American lady. She thinks she owns me. owns the best ladies. I have a Pakistani lady. She is my doormat. I step on her. I don't know if it's that bad. But they have notice on the gay. You know, Arabs, by the way, you know the way Arabs get divorced? They don't have to write a get. They don't have a get makusha to hold the guy back a little bit. You know what a get makusha is? If he's a kayin who can't hold his temper, it's okay, we'll let you divorce. Just take your time a little bit. Now sew it. No, what's a get makusha? It's bad. By the time you're finished. There's no more get. We hope. But by Arabs, he says one word, you're out. Oh, I decided, boom. Matzacheres noimeno, you got shena. The old Pascal Grimy Akiva. Matzacheres noimeno, you got shena. It's a joke. I once heard from Rebbetzin Canarik, they're like chattel. You know what that means? They're like, I have a horse, I have a wife, I have a donkey. A wife, what's you? You don't count. It's extreme, it's crazy. Okay, now. So there are women that are way too much. The man thinks he owns the world. I'm not looking at the ladies, but I know exactly what they look like. They're all smiling. I know exactly. All the ladies are smiling their heads off. The men think they own the world. And we're nebuch. Shmatis. I'm a reg. What is he? I'm a shifcha. I heard this once from Rav Halpern. He once said, what do you think your wife is? A maid? He and Novandics, they didn't like that stuff. You have to treat your wife with respect, no chachmas. But sometimes it's extreme. It's very extreme. The woman says, whatever the husband says, yes, my husband said. The husband thinks you're not worth a penny, and she believes him. She needs the opposite treatment, even though a woman is supposed to be machniyah to her husband, but sometimes it's an extreme. And make sure it's not always so extreme. Don't jump. Well, I don't want all the ladies. I'm going to kill the shalom bayis around here. The ladies all get. Mendel said, check it out with your Rav, what he thinks the situation is before you come to conclusions. But you may have to play down that monster in your life that's putting you into the garbage can. If you're extreme and you're getting depressed and you're not worth a penny and it's not a relationship, you got to do it like I'm telling the men. That's it. Anyway.
How do you know when to do that?
I'm not getting involved. I don't get involved.
The Rebbe said 2 different mahal.
It depends.
And blow yourself up.
Yeah, they're both. When you learn a sefer on Bezyanis, you are blowing yourself up because you don't care what people think of you. In fact, Novandik is the best way to get self-esteem. I made my studies of Novandik and Slobodka. Here comes surprise, surprise. Even though I love Slobodka, you want self-esteem? You go to Novandik. What? Yes. I know a lot of Gedolei Yisrael from Slobodka. They were, would you believe it? It's not a chasar, but Lavdafka, they all had such self-esteem. And Novandik, I don't know how many didn't have self-esteem. I'll tell you why. There were plenty good in both of them. But I have seen Novandik be super self. Why? You could do one or two things. You could say you're a great person. Listen to me. Novandik and Slobodka. Don't think I'm an authority that could tell you exactly what's going on. I will not. Just what I understood, what I gathered from the people I was mashamish. I heard from Slobodka more adogish on knowing your mila. That I heard clearly more than once. Big time. In Novandik, the vote was not knowing your mila. The vote was doing a prat that fafs and you don't care the people's reaction. So there is a tremendous godless in the Novandik. You don't have to feel better or worse. You just don't care what this guy thinks because you're always going to do things in front of him and you don't care if they love you or hate you. That makes you very, 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 very solid without having self-esteem. You got it. But I believe for our door, use everything you can. Use them both. And kula hai v'ulai. Anyway, so let's get back. Where are we up to? No, Rabbi said. Yeah, so here goes. So what happens when the guy stops worshiping his wife, Some people that hold... Now, first of all, I want to tell you something very, very, very important. You're allowed to have a mismatch. You're allowed to have a lady that she's smarter than you and better than you. Rav Scheinberg once told me, it's good to have a smart wife. They used to say a lot of girls, his wife is sharper than him. What's wrong? She's a lot. What's wrong? I have to feel that my wife is much smarter than I am. Let's say. What's wrong with that? So what? It's going to kill you? I don't see anything wrong with continuing in a situation that's not ideal. Oh, well, they don't really have... How's this marriage going to work? Are they going to talk to each other or not? No? Okay, people with Teva do that. And maybe you should, all the Shatchanim. But Reb Geshen didn't do that. Reb Geshen lined up 100 men over there, 100 seminary girls over there. Okay, you marry this one, you marry that one, you marry... And I remember the guy telling me, Adayom, I don't know how my father and mother ever got to how it works, but it's working. Because you have the Abish that there's the craziest marriages that'll live till 120. And everything's wrong, and she yells or he yells, and it's fine. You don't have to make life complicated. Keep on going. It's fine. However, sometimes you can't do that. Sometimes people are getting hurt, and that's where I come in. And that's why one person may have to decide either with his wife or his teenager. I would say 5-year-old kids are much worse than wives. They're by far. The wife is nothing. The wife you can deal with. This 5-year-old, he is, you better be nice to him because he has cute cheeks. You know, be nice to him. So you can get scared of him. And you could look at little kids like that balloon, like that, and you have to put them in the place. I say this to people, Keseda. I tell people, your kid, yes, a Rosh, you know who you are? A Maspin, a Talmud Chacham, a Ben Torah. You know who this kid is? You can barely make a bracha in his presence. And you care what he thinks, what he says. People sometimes need to hear that. You have to put people in the right place. You do that long enough, you're going to change the whole... Now, here comes a story. The story is a gold mine. Happened to me. I was on the plane years ago. And, you know, I'm not such a... whatever. I'm a big Balgaivanik. And that doesn't pass for me. There's some, I don't want to say what, sitting to my left. And I'm in the aisle seat. And there's a guy on the window seat. And between us, there's nothing. And to my left is, I don't want to say what. And I was uncomfortable. And I started speaking to the flight attendants, you know, can you help me out? I don't like this. Well, they were tough on me, they didn't listen to me, nothing. So the kids are finally, I went over to the guy next to me. Would you mind if I sat over here? I want to get a little bit away from you, be close over here. Yes, I do mind. And a few minutes later, I would very much like to. No, it's not. Stay where you are. I'm stuck over here. And I says, what are you doing here? You're Mr. Nobody over here. So I made a decision right then and there. I own this plane. I didn't say it. I didn't verbalize it. I am boss of this airplane. Who are these schnooks? This Shagets over here, and there's the flighter. Who's he? A nutcase. What are they compared to me? I'm the guy here with my Gemara. I'm a Yid. Yeah, no. That's me. I just made that decision. By the way, while I was thinking of the plane, I was thinking of home too. I included and at home I'm also a boss. I'm the guy, boss at home, boss in school, boss. You know who I am? That's all I did, I promise you. As soon as I didn't open my mouth. Suddenly the flight attendant comes flying to me like he's my Evid. Oh, can we help you, sir? Yes, sir. Oh, you are? You sure? You can sit right here. Yes. Oh, we'll get you a man. You don't want to sit next to. We'll get you a man sitting right here. We'll fit you. And the guy next to me didn't like it. Suddenly he likes it. Suddenly he said, oh, you can use the hand dress too, which he didn't want. So everyone's melting. All I did was decide I'm boss around here. And everybody melted. Do you hear what's going on? When you think, you don't have to say anything. What you think has such a power. Exercise that. Say it all day long and never tell yourself, I'm a nebuch. Don't do that. I'm on the ball. I'm always lying, by the way. I am a pathological liar. My wife knows I come home. I'm doing great. I'm a great guy. A guy, if I come in, I tell my wife, you know, I love that guy. Halavai. You know, why'd you say that? You know, oh, I love him. I don't know what it is. I just love that guy. You know, it might be true. It might be here's a Novanega working on himself. The guy that you can't stand, you meant them all, you love him. You know, you have to do that. Anyway, so what you're thinking has such a power. Don't admit, even if you don't feel anything, you don't want to tell you, I'm learning Musa. I have my notes. I saw twice where I spent a whole hour harving on Bטחון. I believe this will happen. I believe it happened. And I wrote at the end, I felt zero. Harved my head off to Bטחון. And nothing happened. I don't feel anything. The next day, suddenly, I just opened the Moshe Sefer, and suddenly I feel a lot of Bטחון. That's the answer. It happened to me twice that I just wanted me to see that. They're seeds. Whatever you're doing, when you're learning in Yani Bטחון, it's a seed. You don't have to feel anything. Just work on it. And Bטחון, say it. You don't believe it, so don't believe it. Say it. You know what I say? Hergish. You have a hergish? Go sit Zainikim. Have a hergish. You need a hergish for everything? So I don't feel it. I'll feel it tomorrow. And even if I don't, I had a lot of yeshuas without feeling anything. Malayat Musa, that's the best. I had a murder Gemaisa with Musa. I told you, Rabbi Say, that I mentioned that I speak on learning with guys before I write my Bטחון weekly. And I like to go to the biggest guns I can find. Listen, I'm on Malikud. You don't mess around. I'm hearing reports on Ashia from day one. People have told me, you know, I see going through your Bטחון weekly cover to cover, this massive Talmud Chacham who knows critical, and he loves it. I hear this Keseda, because I don't play games like with this, start up. So before I write it, I have people Chavedim. In fact, just now I told all my stuff to a person who was known to be the second best bacher in Baltimore from way, way back. I always go to him. He's a big tzaddik, and he's a big lambda, and if he says it's good, I know it. He's got shas, when you speak of learning. I used to speak a lot. I would go to famous names for my Bטחון stuff. I got a lot of self-esteem from that. I'm confident because I see already where I'm holding. So, but I like to speak of learning. And there's a certain person who is a super lamdan and a super masman. He puts everyone to shame. He's real. But he's also very kanai nahara. So lets you know what he thinks of you. Now, I prefer those guys. There's a lot of people I know that may bother them. I never go to them because I know as soon as I tell them I bought, it's gewaldig. No, I don't want that stuff. Rabbi Yechon Resh Lakish, I'm Rabbi Yechon. I like a Resh Lakish to tell me how nasty my vote is. So then we'll work at it. Otherwise I don't know where I'm standing. So I like to hear some criticism. So there's a certain guy who's very good at putting me in my place. You ever hear the Beis Medrash? They're screaming all over it's probably him. He's shakal keneged kulam. He's mean. He's mean. He'll put you in your place, but good. Now, punkt that day that I was going to speak. When I see him, I go to him. Punkt that day, I was looking for a sefer, and somebody says, "Oh man, Dad's looking for a sefer. You want Madregas Adam probably, no?" And he gives it to me. I wasn't lav dafka. Sometimes I learn Gemara too. I'm not always a Musa. But yeah, Mendel, take it, Madregas Adam. And I think the guy either has Ruach HaKodesh or the Eibishter gave me what I needed. Sure enough, boy, did I need it. I spoke to Leonard with this guy, and he wiped the floor with me. He screamed at me like it was a little too much. And I must have confessed, I was also a little bit too much. I wasn't Shemich Apostle Ben Meshivin, not me. And I love him, Ben Melvin. No. And I love him, the oven. I let him have it. Woo! You don't know what you're talking about. I screamed my head off at him. And he was screaming at me, and I felt, it rarely happens that I'm so hot. It could happen with him. Oh, yes. He's a good candidate that you feel, oh, this isn't Popol Chaverim anymore. This is like, let's make sure there's no good covered zebazeh. We're missing here it was really too much. And I was flustered. And I couldn't continue with him. And luckily my Vegas Adam was right there. You don't know what it did to me. I can't describe to you. Just looking at his words, the way he's always working on me with a niggin, I started saying, I'll tell you some good stuff you could say if you want to. Just this pasuk. Or you can say, whatever it is, whatever turns you on. And then I'll say, Madrigas on them is packed with breaking me this. I just hummed it along, and all my anger disappeared. I was in a different world. I'm not into this stupidity. I'm right, you're right. He's hey. I have no cup for it. And Musab Espilas did such a job on me just a few times. I was trying to learn Vaita because I wasn't going to talk to him anymore. But I have to concentrate on my learning. I can't concentrate on every minute. I'm like fuming. A few times I did it. It was Gan Eden. And in the end, what I ended up doing, I walk out of Beis Midrash and I see him. He gives me $1 million smile. I give him $1 million as if nothing happened. Everything was fine. It felt like $1 million. Nobody said anything. We're both out of hand, a little out of control. Shachmanas on our wives. They have to live with us. We can be like that. Anyway, but Musab Espilas is such a dream. It calms you down. Tell you, you can do, you go in the street, and sometimes there's things that maybe you shouldn't see over there. And you say, V'loisa suru, with a niggin! V'loisa suru, achli levavchem v'achli einechem. Just a few times, boom, it's hers in the garbage. Or you go and, when I'm in a crowd, and I'm petrified. So, one of my favorites, this when I really need emergency treatment. That is so powerful. You curse. You're b'teichen people. You're worried what they think of you. It's a curse. Don't curse yourself. So I use that a lot sometimes. It's mamish gevaldik. I think I got another 2 minutes. I'll have my hour. An hour's good. We'll finish off. Rabbi Isai, I want to give everybody a bu'ah. Better have big yeshuas. Give me a bracha. My mifsim should skyrocket. They're calling me up from all over. Right now, I have one of the hardest cases. You can't imagine the cases they call me. I have situations I never give up. I'm very Adarabba oriented. No. Well, look at this, a kid with a stroke. A 3-year-old kid who was left for dead. Like he's dead for his life. He's worth, a vegetable. Out of the hospital, 1, 2, 3, I scream. And I believe that when I scream, I believe things are happening as I scream. You can do the same thing. Scream loud. I got this from, there's a Rebbe in Europe. His name was the Ratzfert Rebbe. And everybody knew that when he gave you a bracha, it was going to work. A Hungarian. He was one of the biggest Rebbes in Hungary. And he gave you a bracha. It wasn't possible. And if he said it loud, he once told a woman, you're going to survive this war. And he screamed loud. And she and her 4 kids, she survived. She and her husband, she was engaged, something, whatever. They both survived with Nisim Guluyim, because the Ratzfert, the Rebbe, said it b'kol ram. When he said it b'kol ram, oh. So I'm very into that. Right, he said it loud. That means something's going to happen. So I believe, raise your voice. Rabbi Sai, everybody's having all the shidduchim. 1, 2, 3, shalom, and simcha, and we'll have Yeshua's niflais. Everybody in my olam has to be a Rebbe. Yes, Hashem. My olam, they're all Rebbes, right? Yes, Hashem will be fit luck to you guys. And we're all going into business. I don't mind competition. It's all the same Eibishter. I don't mind. It's fine. What's up there? We have plenty of Bali Mepis here already. You should have more and more Mepsim. And then give me a bracha that my jokes should improve. Working hard to get better jokes. Give a bracha. Please daven for the Rebbe's jokes. That's a big, very important thing in my life. The Rebbe's jokes should be more mukubal. Should be say the right jokes. Zoicha zayin to the gula shalema b'karin. Our real Novandikas, they made a beautiful kail. It closed, and they start opening up again. They're not in a spell. That's the real thing. Rabbi Moshe Hirschberg, Rabbi Odman, these are...
We closed it.
They closed it. They put a lock on the door. They said, don't you come into this place. The ultimate Novandik once said, if you can't... He once made a special trip all night to put a lock on the door of one of his yeshivas. I hold it has to close. The Tashtolz. But now they're opening it.